since we're going to be talking about the Oscars, we want to do a quick top 5. Is this Academy moments? I guess the moments in the Oscars.
Academy Award moments, yeah.
Which is funny because I'm gonna let you lead it off.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say I'm gonna lead it off, but like I said, I don't have a whole 5 right now. I'm sure I will before the end of the show, but I'm gonna let you kick it off. I have 3 right now, so I hope I come up with another 1 or 2 before I get to those, before those 3 happen. So what's your number 5, my friend? If you have any honorable mentions, please mention them now.
No honorable mention. Well, yeah, I do have an honorable mention. And the past few shows we've been doing, I've been not ranking things. I've just been doing 5 in any order. This one I do want to rank.
Okay, cool.
But honorable mention, it's something I saw briefly, and because I wasn't able to get the actual year and all that stuff, I didn't want to put it in my top 5. But I do remember seeing a clip of it, and this is when Marlon Brando won the Oscar for Best Actor for playing Vito Corleone. And you shake your head. Is that one?
No, I was writing that down as we speak. Now I'm crossing it out.
Okay, no. Actually, you know what?
Go. I already came up with another one.
Okay, good. Yeah. So it's one of those, like, moments you always hear about, especially if you like Oscar stuff and award stuff, because he didn't accept the award. Instead, he used it as a platform to highlight injustices against, I think, the Native American people. The actual speech I haven't gone back to listen to again. It's been like a couple of years since I last watched it, but I remember reading about it and watching that and being like, wow, that's huge, for someone of privilege to take that opportunity to be like, hey, let's shine a light on this. And that actually segues pretty well into my number 5. But do you have an honorable mention or?
No, I don't, but I do want to talk about that honorable mention, man, because I read up on it, and you're thinking like, oh, this is like an amazing thing, but then you realize like, yo, it was actually pretty scary so her name was Skaheen maybe Littlefeather.
Okay.
She was an Apache actress an activist who Marlon Brando basically said, you go do the speech, you can accept it on my behalf, because he wanted to shed light on that. But I think she was threatened at the Oscars and told, you better not make that speech that you want to make on air. So instead she makes it in the back after she does. That's when she makes her speech.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of like even when, like, it's amazing that Marlon Brando did that. It really is.
The 70s are a different time, man.
Yeah, man.
But okay, so my number 5 actually was from just this past Sunday, these Oscars that just happened. And that is Daniel Kaluuya winning Best Actor at the Oscars. I'm a big fan of Daniel Kaluuya. He's obviously the guy who played Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah. It's one of my top 5 moments, not just because he won it, but it's because of the speech. The speech was very good, thanking people, people who had his back, yada yada. But what I really want to highlight about the speech is the fact that he took the time to highlight Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party, Bobby Seale and the rest of them, and what they were doing back then, right? About giving people free healthcare, giving people free breakfast, giving people opportunities for like jobs and stuff. And it was a very important speech to have, because for decades, and this goes for me too, all we ever knew about the Black Panther Party, like if you're really in tune with it, was that these guys are terrorists. These guys are out here blowing up things or shooting up things, or that's how the FBI painted them for decades, So J. Edgar Hoover did a really good job of tarnishing their reputation, and now you have a man winning the Oscar on like an international stage and saying, this is Fred Hampton, this is what he did. And I thought it was a really great moment, and that's why it's my number 5 Oscar moment.
I like it. So sticking with Best Supporting Actor, which that's going to be a discussion that we're probably going to have just in a couple of minutes, just because we kind of, both of them were nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Fred Hampton, the one, I suck at names. The Black Messiah and Judas, the Black Messiah and Judas.
I forgot the character's name too, but Lakeith Stanfield's character.
Yeah. So, but to stick with supporting actor and also a Black supporting actor, Cuba Gooding Jr. I remember his win, just his win, and then how he jumped on stage. The guy was so excited he won for Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
He was all excited, and he just started thanking everybody, and then he started, and like I remember they talked about it on a recap or something like that. And the other actors were like, yeah, then he started yelling out people's names and telling them, I love you. People were jumping up and people just loved it. And it was just like, this guy was like, you know what? I'm in a moment. This moment might not happen again. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened again for him. But these kind of moments might not happen again. And he was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy the hell of it. And you kind of love those. I love those kind of reactions. Like people who are just like, holy crap.
That's what I watch award shows for, right? The legitimate excitement of this, of being recognized in your craft. Yeah, especially when you don't normally get those roles. So you get a role where you get recognized as the best in your field. Heck yeah, I'll be excited too. So I love that moment. Okay, so that's your number 5.
That's my number 5.
All right, so my number 4. This happened. I want to say it was 2018. I know I was living with my brother at the time, so it wasn't too long ago. And it was the Oscars where Warren Beatty announced the winner, and he said La La Land. And the people, all of them from La La Land, came on to like accept the award. They already started doing their speech, and you had that written down too. They already started doing their speech. And then Warren Beatty came back and was like, oh, sorry, there was a misprint or whatever. Oh, not a misprint, but like he misread it. And it's actually Moonlight that won. Oh my goodness.
It was hilarious when the guy who was making the speech was like, we lost, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was. Because when someone wins, you give them the envelope. And so then someone else was making a speech from La La, and then the main producer guy was like reading it. It was like, oh, this says Moonlight. So, it was so awkward. I know there are people who like love awkward moments. I can't stand it. Like it kills me inside. So
I was hella confused at that moment.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
But it was actually so what ended up happening is Warren Beatty actually got the previous envelope that had Emma Stone's win on it.
Right.
That's why they were both looking like, so Warren Beatty and who was this bunny?
I think Jim. No, Jimmy Kimmel was the host. Warren Beatty, and I don't remember who was next to him.
It was because it was like the 60th anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde or something like that, or the something anniversary of them being in Bonnie and Clyde. So it was Warren Beatty and then his co-host from Bonnie and Clyde. But anyways, co-star. And it was, so what ended up happening is he was like reading it and like, what the hell is this? And it was Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway. Okay. And then she looked at it, he looked at it, and they were like confused. But it was and then what ended up happening is I guess it's a law firm or something like that they usually hire. They hire somebody in particular.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, I think it is.
To give out the envelopes, and then the people who gave out the wrong envelope, they were told, you're never gonna get to come back to the show ever again, because they were busy texting the whole time. Like, look, I get it, you're excited, but you're still doing a job. And then you saw what happened. I thought Jimmy Kimmel was just hilarious. Like, he was like, you ruined the whole show. It was hilarious.
I mean, that was crazy. That's number 4. All right, what's yours?
All right, mine actually didn't happen at the Oscars. But it was who could have hosted at the Oscars, which was Kevin Hart not getting to host the Oscars because he got canceled for freaking, tweets or jokes from 20 years ago, which we get the accountability for that people get that need to have for certain things and being canceled for those things. But at the same time, it's just also like, you got to know where certain people need to be. Like, when it comes to like jokes, when somebody's first coming out as a comic, like if he apologized for it, like really, why is he getting canceled? And then I love that Ellen DeGeneres apologized for him
for insensitive things she said. In the interest of clarity, one of the jokes that really blew up was from it was like less than 10 years earlier, and it was on Twitter, where he had posted something about whooping his kid's ass if he comes in doing something fruity. I don't remember the exact context of it, but that was basically it. If he comes in doing something fruity, you whoop his kid's ass. Said in a more hilarious way than I'm saying it. But people were like, "This is homophobic," and yada yada. And he even apologized, but that was not enough, so they pulled him from the show. And then they ended up not. Since then, I don't think they've done a host. I don't think they've used the host of the Oscars. It's just been anyone and everyone just present your own award. So yeah,
There was a host in this one?
No, I don't believe so. I think since then everyone's just been kind of like, okay, you present and you present. So yeah.
Well, no, because Jimmy Kimmel hosted after that. That was before Moonlight.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah. So it was and the host they had no host on this one. Interesting.
Yeah, I know for a while now they haven't done a host. Probably just to avoid that whole thing.
Maybe, yeah. And then I think the last two have also been affected by COVID. So that's also one of the
no, just this one. Because the last one was before the COVID restrictions. It was like February or early March. Yeah. Because the last one was Parasite. That was a full theater that they had in there.
True that. So this one was. So yeah, so that's my number. That's my number 4. Is just Kevin Hart not getting to host, because I think he would have been hilarious. I think he would have probably made a lot of the famous people a little bit uncomfortable, because there's a little bit uncomfortable, which I always find hilarious whenever, like, I thought Ricky Gervais was hilarious. I'm not a huge Ricky Gervais fan for his comedy, like his stand-ups and all that stuff. But when he hosted, I think it was the Emmys, or maybe it was the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was hilarious. Maybe it's also because I'm a little bit cynical myself, but that's my thing. All right, that's my number 5.
Okay, so my number 3 is when Argo won Best Picture. The reason why I like this moment is because a lot was made about Ben Affleck getting snubbed for a while, right? Because Ben Affleck was nominated and won at the Directors Guild of America. I think he won Best Director at the Golden Globes. SAG doesn't do director awards, but like he won the BAFTA, I believe, too. But he was snubbed by the Oscars for Best Director. So when Argo won Best Picture, the producers on it, because I don't believe Ben Affleck was a producer on it, but the producers brought up Ben Affleck to give the speech, because they're like, you didn't get your chance to do a speech because they didn't nominate you for director, so you come and do the speech. And it was like Ben Affleck's return, right? It was like triumphant, and because for a while there he had kind of, I wouldn't say was blacklisted, but it kind of gotten a bit of a bad reputation for being in bad movies and all that stuff. After being a darling of Hollywood with his writing partner Matt Damon. So this was like his resurgence, and it was really good for him to have that Oscar moment, despite the fact that he didn't actually win because he wasn't a producer on the movie. But I liked it. He was a producer. Okay, so he won. So he won.
Him and George Clooney and Grant Heslov. So
okay, good.
He won.
But
that says the word. He just didn't get Best Director, which, like, you're right, because it says right here he got Golden Globe and a BAFTA for, and that's just crazy. But he got the Golden Globe, BAFTA, and Academy Award for Best Picture. Like I always hate that there's definitely politics involved in some of these nominations.
Yeah. To them, they just don't want to give it to this guy. Yeah.
So that brings me to my number 3. Which I'm kind of confused. I want to know if I want to say that as my number 3 or if I want to say the other one as my number 3. I'll say this one. So Martin Scorsese finally winning for
The Departed.
The Departed, after he was nominated so many times. Like, he was nominated so many times that he actually said, he's like, I don't think I'll ever win an Oscar. And I don't think after that he's really been nominated again. Well, he probably has, but like not. He doesn't come out with movies as often as he used to.
Was Wolf of Wall Street after The Departed?
It was.
And he was nominated. He was nominated for The Irishman.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I remember Bong Joon-ho thanking Martin Scorsese in his speech, because he was like, he's a big Martin Scorsese fan. So
you could kind of see a little bit of the Martin Scorsese influence.
Yeah. So
in Parasite. So but Martin Scorsese finally went, man, I just thought that was like, because I remember this was back when International Movie Database had all those message boards, and I would be on there sometimes. And as soon as he won, man, you see like 5 different posts, or not 5 different posts, that's too little. Like, you literally see like 100 different posts of people saying, finally, yes, he won, good
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
you know. So that was
No,
pretty cool.
I think The Departed is probably my favorite Best Picture winner of the last 20 years. And I love Parasite. I love Slumdog Millionaire. I love Gladiator. The Departed is up there, man. I've rewatched The Departed at least 5 times. It's really good. So I'm glad he
Yeah.
won for that one.
I would say The Departed or The Revenant for me.
I didn't get into The Revenant. I just
No?
yeah, which is it's good that you bring that up.
Okay.
Well, we will be talking about that. But my number 2 is Heath Ledger's family accepting the Oscar for him posthumously. That was a pretty stacked category that year. It was Zeus is scratching off another one. It was Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder. It was what's it? Sean Penn for Milk. It was, I believe, Russell Crowe. No, it was a bunch of people. I can't remember all the names. What I do know is that Heath Ledger won it, deservedly so, because till this day, everyone says that's the best Joker performance. Even comparing it with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker a couple of years ago, I would put Heath Ledger above it. And so for his family to be there to, tragically to accept the award on his behalf, that was a memorable moment. I'm glad he got that, and also for a comic book movie to win, that's not something that happens at the Oscars a lot. Batman at the end of the day is still a comic book property.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was big. Yeah, that's my number 2.
Quick correction: it wasn't Sean Penn for Milk. It was Josh Brolin for Milk.
Josh Brolin for Milk. Sean Penn won Best Actor.
Best Actor for Milk.
Yes.
Yeah, Josh Brolin,
Philip
Robert
Seymour
Downey
Hoffman.
Jr., Philip Seymour Hoffman in Doubt,
yeah,
and Michael Shannon in Revolutionary Road.
Has
Michael Shannon ever won one? Has he ever won an Academy Award?
I don't know if he has, but Revolutionary Road is a fantastic movie.
Michael Shannon should have won an Academy Award a long time ago. That dude is like such a chameleon, I think.
I mean, if we're talking about people that should have won, Amy Adams, 6 nominations, no wins. Glenn Close, 8 nominations, no wins. Obviously Peter O'Toole with his 8 and no wins. So I mean, there are a lot of people that are out there.
Zeno has these written down. He's got I got all these snubs written down. Ready. Speaking of which, that leads into mine snub, and it's actually about in relations to Heath Ledger. One of the biggest things that I always had a problem with, which I think is getting better, because if you've noticed now, comic book movies are starting to be taken a little bit more serious, right? Where they're nominating them, because I think Suicide Squad was the first one to win, or was it Suicide Squad? Yeah, I think it was Suicide Squad, the very first comic book movie to win something, minus Heath Ledger's supporting actor,
like makeup or whatever,
special effect or makeup or something like that. But that was the first movie to win. I honestly think that The Dark Knight that year not being nominated was actually a big snub, and I think it kind of leads into the whole kind of the way these Academy Awards, you would think they kind of think too much of themselves a little bit. It's like you should nominate. They're like, yeah, the movie's fun, right? But it's good. It's a good movie. Christopher Nolan did an amazing movie. The movie should have been nominated. I'm like, it was the best movie that year. I think it was the best movie that year.
The Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture?
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Nope. I don't, unless I'm lying. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. And I don't think I am. Because no, it wasn't nominated at all. I can even look it up right now. Best Picture, Slumdog, which was a good movie. I get why that won.
Yeah, yeah.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, and The Reader.
Okay.
No, the only thing that the Dark Knight Rises was nominated for was for the best supporting actor. And some might even argue that it was one of the reasons he got nominated was because he passed away too. Right? Like kind of like a whole, not sympathy vote, but kind of like, let's nominate, or hey, he passed away, he's never going to get to do another one like these. He deserves it for this because it was that good too.
I definitely feel like had he not passed away, a lot of those Oscar voters would not have watched that film. Because, and that's been a big problem. And we did an episode about the Oscars changing their criteria. Yeah. A lot of the big problem is that the people who vote for these things aren't actually watching like quality movies that should be getting recognized as well, right? So they'll be like, oh, this movie is like really good. How come I never saw it? Because it's not on your radar, you know. So that's kind of kind of the reason why it's a bit of a good thing that they're making some of these changes of like, you know, what it takes to actually get to watch something, to actually get nominated. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right. But yeah, that's my number 2, Dark Knight being snubbed.
okay, my number 1, I have it written down. I just want to make sure. Okay, good. My number 1 is Leonardo DiCaprio winning Best Actor at the Oscars. Leo is one of the greatest actors of our generation. He won after not winning 5 times. Once for supporting actor, what's Eden Gilbert Grape. 3 times for Best Actor, which is for Wolf of Wall Street.
Gangs of New York.
No, actually, I have it written down. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, The Aviator, and Blood Diamond. 1 time for producer, which is for Wolf of Wall Street. So all 5 of those he lost, and then he finally won Best Actor for The Revenant, a movie which I wasn't a fan of. I thought he could have won for The Departed, which he wasn't nominated. I thought he could have won for Wolf of Wall Street. I thought he could have won for Blood Diamond. Now, all those years where he lost for those movies, I think Blood Diamond was the year, what's the guy's name? Don Cheadle, Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah, and then there was another year he lost where Forest Whitaker won for Last King of Scotland. You know, so I mean, like he went up against some like pretty good performances, but I was really happy that he won. I honestly, and I talk about this on the radio show. Sometimes the Oscars do makeup calls, and I think that's what this was.
Yeah, no, definitely. Martin Scorsese was a makeup call. Like,
yeah.
They also, a lot of people were like, that was really a lifetime achievement award. Like he really, just because you've been snubbed so many times. So unfortunate, Peter O'Toole never got to get that
makeup call.
call.
So that's my number 1. And before you get to your number 1, the NFL draft, the number 1 pick is Trevor Lawrence by the Jaguars.
Color me shocked. So my number 1 is gonna be The Lord of the Rings, sweeping the Oscars the year for the Return of the King.
Yes.
I loved it because 1, it was fantasy, and they realized, like, look, I think it was like kind of like what we said, like you said about Heath Ledger winning, or not Heath Ledger winning. I'm sorry, Leonardo DiCaprio winning. I kind of feel like that was also a makeup call for like the previous 2, where they're like, we didn't even really look at these movies, but all right, we're gonna give him for the Return of the King because it's also for the other 2 movies that came there before, because this is pretty much one big epic film, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say the drawback to me is I think there should have been 2 actors that had been nominated, because honestly I think they did Oscar-worthy performance, which is Viggo Mortensen for Argo, and Sean Astin. Is it Sean Astin or Sean Bean? Sean Astin. Yeah. Sean Astin for Samwise. Mm-hmm. I honestly think those 2 did Oscar-worthy performances. They really should have been nominated. Them not being nominated, honestly, is a snub. Mm-hmm. But they got to sweep because I think they were the first movie to sweep sweep all of their nominations. Yeah, which was 11 for 11. 11 for 11, which was I think the best since the Titanic. No, yeah, I think the Titanic had done 10 or 11 too, or something like that. But yeah, so definitely very I would say Lord of the Rings winning. That's my number 1 moment, because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, I always say Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's not 3 movies; it's one whole movie.
Right. Okay. I do like Viggo Mortensen. I know Sean Astin was really good in that movie, Return of the King. I want to see Viggo Mortensen has actually won an Oscar, and no, he hasn't.
He's been nominated a couple of times.
He's been nominated 3 times. I really liked Eastern Promises. I never saw Captain Fantastic, and I really like Green Book as well. I know people had issues with Green Book, but I liked it.
Look, if even if it's not honest to the story or honest to history, right? Is the performance good though? Like, at the end of the day, you're talking about the performance. You're not talking about the I guess the accuracy of the actual story. But like somebody can have a crap script and do like an amazing performance that you're like that alone turns the movie around, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, so
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
That's
All right, cool.
that's our
So
top
that
five.
is our top 5, and he was right, guys. Zeno was talking. He said that probably during our top 5, he would talk about the number 1 draft pick overall. So there you go. That is our top 5. Now we are going to do our actual reaction on the Oscars.